All right.
Assalamualaikum and good day to everyone watching this video. Me and my teammates as listed are going to present our case study on an oil and gas industrial accident incident that is reported in Malaysia. The incident that took place is titled Explosion at Petronas Oil and Gas Complex in Johor, which injures 2, damages houses, in the Straits Times electronic newspaper. So let's have a look at the particulars of this incident.
For starters, this incident took place on the 12th of April at Johor Bahru in 2019. Moreover, the incident happened at the Pengarang Integrated Complex approximately around 1:25 a.m. in the morning. During the quiet and chill night, Petroleum National Berhad Refinery and Petrochemical Integrated Development Project in Pengarang had an explosion and fire. In addition, this refinery was just around 15 kilometers away from Singapore.
So, what exactly happened at that morning? Ashmon Baja, who said the fire occurred at one of the complex project site at roughly 2:15 a.m., informed the Petronas Emergency and Response Team. Right after they received the complaint and dispatched 5 fire engines with 30 firefighters, who were able to control and extinguish the fire. Without exaggeration, residents in surrounding residential area and as far as Pasir Gudang, approximately 50 kilometers away, could feel the tremor generated by the explosion. According to Petronas, the explosion and fire happened in the plant's atmospheric residue desulfurization unit, which is in its commissioning stage.
Okay, so here comes the most crucial question. Were there any injuries, death, and what is the severity of the damage? To sum it all up, 2 local workers sustained minor injuries and were treated as outpatients at Rapid Pengerang Medical Emergency Centre. In addition, more than 10 houses in Kampung Lepau near Pengerang were reportedly damaged. Plus, all residents who were impacted by the incident were also told to file police reports. Following a call to Petronas to determine what had occurred, the village chief was instructed to perform a census of every home in Kampung Lepau to determine the extent of the damage.
Okay, to move on, what were the potential consequences of this accident other than endangerment of the public well-being and safety? Firstly, it will be economic loss, since the explosion causes a huge loss of gas which was supposed to be sold. Secondly, the causing of environmental pollution. The explosion released lots of harmful gases which will pollute the planet. Thirdly, arising of health issues, since the gases released will cause many health hazards if inhaled. And lastly, the unavoidable expensive damage recovery, since a lot of money is needed to repair the damage.
Now, here are a few recommendations that our team members came up in regard with this incident. For the responsible company, they should do constant maintenance on the machines owned. Other than that, they should also do constant practice for emergency and have proper funding for emergencies.
As for the individuals involved, they should have taken note of the emergency protocol of the company and always be cautious when dealing with dangerous substances. Moreover, attending proper training for the job is a must.
For the government, they should have allocate more money that is specifically for jobs that have huge risk while ensuring that all the company in Malaysia practices the safety protocol and laws. Now, what are the workplace acts and regulations related to the incident and accident?
With all of the chemicals that surround modern life, it is a terrible reality that we are occasionally compelled to pay the price. While explosions are possibility in all workplaces, workers at chemical or industrial plant face greater dangers. A chemical plant can cause a dangerous and debilitating explosion as a result of the generation of gases, the build-up of heat, and the reaction. This can cause significant plant explosion injuries, such as third-degree burns, as well as major property damage that can have long-term consequences for the local population. Now Zara will explain and talk about the laws and acts of the incident.
The first is related to employer responsibility. Employers who deny workers a safe working environment face fines, citations, and penalties from OSHA. It is the obligation of a business owner to ensure that all of the precautions are taken to protect the safety and health of personnel on site as well as those in the surrounding areas. The use of natural gas for fuel pipe cleaning poses a number of risks, according to the United States Chemical Safety Board, principally due to its high flammability. OSHA strongly encourages industrial locations to adopt a non-flammable and non-explosive choices when cleaning gasoline pipe systems as part of their efforts to create safe workplaces. OSHA's general employer rules include, but are not limited to the following, which are to create a risk-free working environment by adhering to all of the safety and health regulations, check the working environment on a regular basis, provide personnel with the necessary safety equipment and tools, maintain and replace all of the equipment and tools as needed, notify personnel of any of the potential hazards on the job. Workers should be trained in health and safety protocols, and these requirements should be reviewed on a regular basis. And last but not least is within 8 hours of an accident involving 3 or more wounded workers or a fatality, you need to notify OSHA.
All right. Next will be the laws and acts related to the poor facility maintenance. According to recent studies of plant explosions, a poorly maintained facility is the top cause of a disaster. Chemicals are generated in the industrial site using a variety of equipments. In order to work efficiently and safely, this equipment requires both specific training and proper maintenance. The danger of tragedy increases considerably if plant operators fail to follow maintenance and safety rules for their equipment. Maintenance workers are responsible for inspecting and replacing obsolete or worn equipment, particularly those that could pose a risk if left unattended, such as catalysts, chemicals, and boilers.
As for laws and acts related to training for industrial workers, every employee should have a thorough grasp of the apparatus they use, the chemicals they handle, and the risk of combustion and the risk of connected with certain actions. All staff should be educated on how to prevent combustion and should be aware of any potentially dangerous scenarios involving chemical mixing or the use of an open flame near flammable items. Unfortunately, some businesses underestimate the need of staff training, which can lead to a devastating workplace disaster. All staff at industrial sites should take courses that include the following topics, which are work practices that are safe. Working with hazardous substances can be dangerous, so follow these safety guidelines to reduce the risk. Hazards to chemical safety control methods, training on basic emergency response, how are hazardous materials and containers ready for transport, and also what kind of paperwork is required while transporting hazardous materials at the facility. There are several factors to working safely with electrical equipment, and also before using a forklift, you should do structural and power system checks.
Okay, so that's it from our team. I hope it was beneficial for all the viewers. Thank you and have a nice evening.